Next, we're going to talk about headings. It isn't enough to make text big and bold so it looks like a heading. Headings need to be formatted as headings so other technologies get the metadata information that something is a heading, that this is a heading. If you don't format headings as headings, cell phones, tablets, and assistive technologies like screen reading software will present that information as ordinary paragraph text, running it together with the paragraph above and below it. To make something a heading, select the text that you want to make into a heading, go to the Home tab, and in the Styles group, choose the appropriate heading level. In this case, I would choose heading 1. In addition to formatting headings as headings, the headings need to be used in the correct order. Headings chunk out your content, making it easier for everyone to read the document. Headings are also a major way of navigating with a screen reader. Heading 1 is like the title of a book, and there is just one Heading 1 per document. Heading 2s are like chapter titles. Heading 3s are subsections of those chapters, and so on. Heading order is also similar to an outline. It can be helpful to view the navigation pane while applying structure to a Word document, so you can see the headings in an outline style format to make sure you haven't skipped a heading level. So we would want to notice the accessibility checker does not say anything about our headings not being marked up as headings. Because it doesn't know that these should be headings. It cannot ascertain that from this document. I'm going to close the accessibility checker for right now. So this is our heading 1. Then the next heading is always going to be a heading 2. And I can open up this Styles menu with this expandable arrow here. And I can see all of my headings. Right now I'll choose this heading 2. And the next heading underneath is under making your Word documents accessible is accessibility checkers. And since this is a subheading of making your Word documents accessible, it would be a heading 3. So right now I have a heading 1, a heading 2, and a heading 3. Now you might think that this next heading would be a heading 4, but it's not, because if you look at the heading above it, accessibility checkers, images is not a subsection of accessibility checkers. So then you look at the next heading above that, making your Word documents accessible. It is a subsection of this heading 2, making your Word documents accessible. So images would be a heading 3 because it's a subsection under this heading 2. So similar to accessibility checkers, it's also a heading 3. And then as I scroll down and I highlight this heading, you'll notice it's just written in normal text and made into a big bold thing that looks like a heading but is not formatted as a heading. So we need to change this. So I look at the heading above this, images. No, headings is not a subsection of images. It's not a subsection of accessibility checkers, but it is, again, a subsection of this heading level 2, making your Word documents accessible. So this would also be a heading 3. Scrolling down, same thing with lists. This would also be a heading 3 because these are all things about making your Word documents accessible. These are all involved in making your Word documents accessible. But when we get to PDFs, that's not a subsection of tables and color, not a subsection of making your Word documents accessible either, but it is another type of document accessibility. So it is another chapter and should be a heading 2, similar to making your Word documents accessible. It's of the same level of importance as this heading 2, so it also would be a heading 2. Now, copy your content to a D2L web page. That's another type of document accessibility and not a subsection of PDFs. So that too is also a heading 2, as is making your PowerPoints accessible is a heading level 2. And if we look at this navigation pane, we can see it looks like an outline and it makes sense. Now, if we were to have gotten our headings out of order, say we made, say we skipped from heading 1 to a heading 3 and we made this heading 2, it was actually heading 3. Let's look at our accessibility panel. And you'll notice it does say we've skipped a heading level. So if I click on this, it will explain again why I should fix this and how to fix it. So this accessibility checker can't check everything, but it sure is helpful. I'm going to change that back to heading level 2, and you'll notice it will disappear from the menu here. So I'll just go back to heading 2, and you see now it's no longer listed in the accessibility checker. Okay, again I'm going to close the navigation pane for now. Now that our document is formatted with headings, I want to show you a couple of cool things you can do because you've formatted your document correctly. One thing is I can change, if I don't like the styles that these headings are in, I can change the styles in one fell swoop. I can also change them individually. I could change the color of this to red, for example, and it would still stay marked up as a heading 1. But if I want to change everything at once, I can use this Change Styles button, click on it, go to Style Set, and then if I roll over these styles, you see on the screen being previewed the different looks that I can apply to my document in one easy click. You can also add a table of contents. If this was a long document, I would like to have a table of contents. So I'm going to insert a page break here, put my cursor up on this page, and then I'm going to go to the References menu and choose Table of Contents, and then I can choose which type of table of contents I want. I'm going to choose this Automatic Table 1, and then it just created a table of contents based on all of my headings. So here's the heading 1. You can see it kind of looks like the navigation menu. But a cool thing about this is I can just, you know how in a Word document you have to hit Control click to make a link work? Well, you can do the same thing with this table of contents. I can just Control click and jump right to that section of the document. Again, just like any other link, I would just put my cursor on that link and I'd go push down Control and click, and it will take me to that section of the document. So those are advantages above and beyond accessibility for using headings on your document.